Well, it's not that great. It's the best I could come up with on short notice, but the videos themselves go into detail, so I guess that backs up.
Hang on a minute, guys. We're live now.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Carmen, do you want to play us a few songs? Good morning, all. We've already got a couple of viewers already. Get ready for a hell of a show.
So I guess that backs up.
Hang on a minute.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem to go away. Donald Trump defeated Hillary. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I can see the truth in front of me. Lord, that red pill tasted bittersweet. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why Trump had to run, now I know we need a change. I wore my red hat and I was slapped across my face yesterday. Socialism tried to change my ways. Then I realized the news is fake. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Why Trump had to run, now I know we need a change. I wore my red
are beginning to shuffle in. One more song, perhaps, Carmen?
Hey everybody, you hear that train coming down the track? That's the Trump train, and it ain't never going back. All aboard! Trump train, get on board. Trump train, get on board. Don't be late. We're gonna make America great. The time is now. It's do or die. We can't take this human lives. Come on now, everybody. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Black, yellow, white, across the nation. The Trump train, leaving the station. The time is now. It's do or die. We can't take Hillary lies. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Yeah. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. Get on board. The Trump train. Get on board. 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 Trump train. Get on board. Get on board. Trump train.
Okay, what do you reckon? One more song, or are we good to go? Info Warrior, thanks for the compliment. And Amy Adams, you're in the right spot. You will be getting real information here. If you've never chatted before, the mods will help you out, and the rest of the crowd will as well. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here.
That's one of my crew. Amy, hey sister.
Yes, Amy, you're aware of the situation we're in. This is good information tonight, though. I'm happy to say I'm bringing you good news. So, welcome. This is Dumpsters Divers, broadcasting around the world and across the galaxy. You're in for a special treat tonight. We've got a wonderful woman called KAZ, and she's going to be bringing you some pretty good news. So hello, everybody. I'll talk a little bit about the platform. This has a feedback loop, okay? You guys can communicate with me directly. I've got the YouTube chat open. And all you have to do is tag me, make sure my name lights up in the nice red-orange box so I can see it, and I will respond. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you all here. And we'll start off with the devotional, I think. And then after the devotional, I'll let people introduce themselves, and I'll give KAZ an introduction as well. So the devotional coming up, this is important because we need to get off on the right foot. And before I actually start, I will make this caveat. We are not a Christian organisation. We're an organisation with Christians. I want this to be as inclusive as possible. As long as you're a decent person, I'm happy to accept your friendship. And let me say it's an honour and a blessing, and to be able to learn and teach alongside all of you guys. Carmen, honey, are you ready with that devotional?
Yes,
Well, can I say hello?
Do you guys want to say hello? Okay, I'll introduce KAZ. Okay, KAZ is a force of nature. She is a very effective, very influential person. She's done a lot for this movement. I'm very proud to have her on the show, and hopefully she'll be back another day. She's got an open invitation. She's bringing you information about what is called GESARA, and she'll explain what that is. But like I said, it's good news. I'm happy to report that this presentation is going to be positive and uplifting. And we have Puppy Max, Benji, Carmen, and Oz. Do you guys want to say a hello?
Well, I know you saw me walk in Discord. I dropped the GIF. Hey, it's Private Benjamin. I'm booted, suited, and ready for duty.
This is Puppy Max from the Netherlands, Maymaker. Have a good one, y'all.
Are you going to say hello, Carmen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, everybody around the world. It's good to see you.
Okay. Time for the devotional, maybe, and then we'll roll with the main event. And this information, it's timely, it's relevant, it's interesting. If I can get you guys to reach out to your friends, let them know that we're streaming right about now, this information, you're going to want to hear it. This is actually practical information that will help you navigate the events that are unfolding at the moment.
Okay, this morning's text comes from two different places. The first one is 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. The second one is the 91st Psalm. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you say, the Lord is my refuge, and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue Him. I will protect Him, for He acknowledges my name. He will call on me, and I will answer Him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him, and with long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. I just wanted to contrast the adversary and the Almighty here. 1 Peter describes the adversary as a lion, a roaring lion to be precise. If you've ever noticed, they don't roar when they're stalking down their prey, but those roars can easily send a timid gazelle into flight, rendering it vulnerable to attack because it left its safe place. The takeaway from that is don't let the noise the enemy makes frighten you into a panic. And Psalm 91 tells you where that safe place is, living or abiding in the security the Most High offers us. He is the one we run to when we need refuge, the secure fortress, the one we can put total faith in, the one who delivers us when the enemy has laid a trap for us. If we remain under his wings, he offers protection. Have you ever watched a hen with her chicks? They seek shelter under her wings from the elements and predators. If his truth is our foundation, we have nothing to fear. Absolutely nothing. Because even in our death, he promises us life everlasting if we are faithful to him. Our adversary seeks to destroy us. Our Father offers us life, love, protection, deliverance, and guidance. They are polar opposites, the enemy and our Savior. It's up to each individual to choose where their trust lies. Father, thank you for this day and for all who have joined us. Your mercy toward us is a gift none of us could have ever earned. And I think that is why it's so hard to grasp sometimes. It's the greatest gift of all, and all you ask is that we accept it. So, Father, with a repentant spirit and a grateful heart, we thank you for your promises, the greatest of which is salvation through acceptance of your only begotten Son. Help us each day to be a living example of your love for us. Touch and heal those who are sick or suffering, like our dear friend Beatles and his wife. Restore their health quickly. Increase our faith and give us strength for the times that are ahead. Please open the eyes of those who cannot see. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. That was beautiful, very relevant, and very inspiring. Okay, it looks like the channel's up and running. I can relax a little. Hello, everybody out in YouTube. I will take note of you individually. And remember, if you've got any comment to make, tag me and I will respond. Yeah, you guys are in for a treat. I actually cannot wait to hear this. My understanding of the situation is pretty rudimentary, but we have what is called GESARA. And if half what I've heard about GESARA is true, we're in for a real treat. KAZ, would you like to take it away?
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Dumpster, just like old times. For those that don't know, Dumpster and I used to be on another channel together 7 days a week at one stage, 3 hours per night, our time. So we know each other pretty well. And we both left that channel separately. We didn't separate. We just left the channel. So I just wanted to let everybody know how I know Dumpster. And Dumpster's got a great team behind him, Private Benjamin, Carmen, Ozanon, and Puppy Max. So I'm just looking at the chat, and of course, the second that I start speaking, all the noise in my house starts, which is nothing unusual. And yes, tonight I will be talking about the GESARA situation. I have made numerous videos on my channel on that situation, and then updated it, in the past 2 years, and have had more views on those than I could ever dream of, compared to what I would if I just did a video on Q posts, for example. But what I'd like to do to start with is I'd like to lighten up the air with a funny video that I found on Facebook that takes a little bit of the mickey out of the the virus that's floating around the world at the moment. I won't say exactly what it is, but I'm thinking that I might be able to scroll up and get it going myself, but we'll just see what happens here. Yeah, I think I can do it myself. Where is it? Here we go. Let's see if it will open up for me. No, one of the ladies is going to have to do it for me, I think.
Yeah, me and Kaz, we go way back. It's good to be working alongside her again. You guys are in for a real treat.
Sorry. I'm seeing who's really loud. Are you saying that I'm really loud in the chat?
We'll leave that up to the individual anons to adjust their own volume. I think you'll find.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not any. It's the same volume I'm always on when I'm live or online. Okay, am I getting any assistance to run this video, or will I try it again myself? I'll try to go back up again and find it.
Yeah, overlook the ragged edges because we got real information. If you want slick production values, go back to CNN. And let me remind you that this is information you are going to really want to hear.
And it won't open. So, Carmen, is there any chance that you might be able to open that link for me? Please?
How far back was it?
I've got it on the screen. I don't know if you can see it. It's about an hour ago. I could go straight to. No, I can't.
If you can re-drop it into the stream, I'll be able to deal with it from there. But that's about all I can do. I'm using display capture. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah, it's not letting me because I'm recording. We both are. That's why we can't do it, Dumpster. Gotcha.
Yeah. That would have been nice. Maybe we can bring that for another day. And if Kaz is impressed with chat and our little outfit, maybe she'll be back again another time. Maybe she can make a regular commitment. That'd be fantastic.
Yes. All right. Well, I'll just continue until we can work out what's going on with that. So basically what I wanted to start with tonight was the current situation, and kudos go to one of my favourite YouTubers, which is Dave from X22. He is diligent every single day. He reports and records a video, 2 videos actually. He records one on the situation going on around the world and with President Trump and Q, and the other one is always the financial situation, financial collapse. So as of today, the financial situation is this. Now, we all know that the deep state want to bring down the economy, so to destroy President Trump, and also to take control. It's the only way they're going to be able to take control back. However, we knew they were going to do this. So what happened today? Well, the Federal Reserve, injected $1.5 trillion into the system as directed by President Trump. So he's actually setting up the Fed by directing them to do that, and you'll see it all unfolding, and a lot of this relates back to the whole GESARA act as well. So he's setting up the Fed. He's preparing for a gold-backed currency restructure, and we all know that one of the Q posts, and I haven't actually got which number it was, I should have written it down, where Q was asked a question about the Fed, and Q did say structure. So the restructure is happening. Okay, so the difference between what's happening now, we can all see that the stock market is dropping. Today was the greatest amount the stock market has dropped since 1987. Now, those of us who remember back to 1987 remember that from there till, nearly the 90s, we went through a worldwide recession and interest rates soared to about 18%. I know in Australia they did. So when we look at how it came down, we can look at the way it's being handled in the background by President Trump in the process of him setting up the restructure. Now, going back to 2008, when they had the global financial collapse, basically, where the banks basically collapsed and the world was in serious danger. I know Australia didn't suffer a lot. We were actually really in a good place not to have suffered greatly with that particular collapse. But in the USA, $23 trillion was invested back into the banks to save them. Now, that $23 trillion didn't come out of thin air. It came from the taxpayer in the USA and taxpayers from around the world, because it wasn't just American banks that crashed, it was European banks as well. So what they did was they crashed it on purpose so that it could be reset to their advantage, where they didn't care whether, Joe Blogg, who, works 9 to 5 and works his butt off 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, had to suffer, lost all their, their 401ks, or they didn't care about we the people. So the difference between what's happening now is that President Trump is repositioning or restructuring to reposition, not crash, so that there's no pain for the people. So that's why he's got the Federal Reserve plugging in all this money to prop up the stock market. Okay, so Trump's in control. President Trump is in control, and he's also setting up the Fed for a fall, because who is going to take the blame and wear the debt at the end of the day of that $1.5 trillion? The Federal Reserve. So, and with these emergencies happening in the USA, it gives President Trump an extreme amount of flexibility. He can bring in all kinds of executive orders and proclamations and put in things that he would never be able to do if there wasn't an emergency from this CV. Okay, so, and everybody noticed, I would expect, that President Trump wanted the payroll tax cut to zero. I don't think he got zero. But can you see where that's going? So when we get into the NESARA and GESARA, it actually directly links into the NESARA-GESARA main points. I'll go into that further. Just remember that point that I made about the payroll tax and President Trump wanting it to be zero. So he also today wanted to help capital liquidity to firms impacted by the CV. And when I say CV, you know what that means, that thing, virus, by providing low interest loans. Oh, thank you for that, Dumpster. Okay, so he also wants zero or negative interest rates from the Fed. So he's actually flipping the Fed from a debt-based system to a zero interest system. And we'll go into that further in a moment.
But in for just a moment, dear Kaz.
Sure.
I'd just like to remind YouTube, if you tag me and have a question for Kaz, I'll scribble it down, and I'm sure Kaz will do her best to answer any questions you might have. I'm hooked on the presentation already. Do you reckon you could do a quick discussion of the federal currency cycle? The 1913, 1933, 1973, and then now. That'd be helpful, I think. Other than that, I'm loving this. I'm well and truly engaged. This is good. This is really good.
I've only got a few more points to go before I finish this part of my presentation. The GESARA goes deeply into a timeline. So if you can hold on, Dumpster, I'll get there. Few more points to make about what's happening on the financial collapse. President Trump also issued an executive order, I think it was today, to end medical supply reliance on China. Made in the USA push, basically. So he's saying we don't want to be held hostage to China for any of our pharmaceuticals or medical supplies. That's like face masks, your hand, what do you call it? That stuff that's all sold out. We have it here. I've got a big bottle of it. Sanitizer, the hand sanitizer, all that kind of stuff. That's a smart move. So he's gathering more momentum in the USA to make sure that everything is the economy is looking after itself. You've got a big population over there. You should be able to do it. Okay, so the Fed will be left holding the debt of the 1.5 trillion, and Trump is calm when asked about the stock market crashing. He is totally calm, just like I am. I'm not worried. So also gold dropped, which was a really big surprise, but that is because our deep staters, our Illuminatis, our Khazarian mafia are all selling their gold because they need liquidity. They have nothing. Okay, so that's all I got for today's situation. I hope it was useful. Next, I just quickly want to talk to you about my journey as far as financial tyranny and situations are concerned. I started off way back with David Wilcox. I nearly forgot his name. David Wilcox, Financial Tyranny, which I recorded all 10 chapters of that. And I was very fascinated. It really opened my eyes to the whole world of the history of how the Illuminati, etc., deep state cabal really screwed us. Also in that Financial Tyranny, he actually did a really great job of the history. I learned all about the BIS. I learned about Bretton Woods Agreement. I learned about, John F. Kennedy being involved with trying to get things set right. Sorry, I've had something come up on my screen. To set right, etc. So that was great. So then I started looking more into Neil Keenan. And the more I looked, the more I came across negatives. There was a lot of people who basically debunked everything that he had said and claimed. So I was still a bit open-minded, and I thought, I'll dig deeper. And the more that I did and recorded and presented on YouTube, the more people came up with other situations, such as the St. Germain Trust. Now, I didn't dig deeply into St. Germain Trust because when I did dig, that was debunked pretty convincingly by multiple sources of information. I'm not saying that they don't exist. All of this is my opinion on the information that I have found. You should do your own research and use your own discernment. Then I was fascinated by the Leo Wanta / Ronald Reagan situation, where Leo Wanta was sent by President Reagan to actually bring down the USSR, and Leo Wanted was owed trillions of dollars because of it, etc., and had it stolen from him by the cabal. That's another story. It's also another one where I've seen mixed situations. Then I found the White Hats reports. I did every single report. There's 52 of them, and was totally fascinated. That covers the absolute financial corruption of the not just the Obama administration, but it brings into play people like Mitt Romney. It brings into play a lot of these trusts around the world where money was fraudulently stolen mid-transfer by these people. So I've kind of really dug deep into it, and I'd also along the way found GESARA. Now, GESARA, hang on a minute. Okay, before I get into GESARA, Ozanons found the link to play for me. Do you think that you'll be able to play it? Just let me know before I continue.
I'll jump in with a quick comment. It doesn't really matter how much money the Fed is printing at the moment, because it's all about to go tits up anyway. They're probably printing money hand over fist like Monopoly paper.
Out of fresh air, Dumpster.
Yeah.
Has been for a long time too. So whilst Ozanon's getting sorted, what I did come across, because Dumpster asked me to update on the GESARA. Oh, okay. Oz has got it. Oz, do you want to play that, please?
Hang on. Perhaps if I open it, it'll be displayed on my display capture screen.
Try it.
Yeah.
The year was 2020, early March or thereabouts, off the back of quite a summer plagued by bushfires and droughts.
While you do that,
So the nation was exhausted.
yes, basically Dumpster asked me if I would come on and update on GESARA. I was a little bit daunted by it because there's not a lot of updates on it, because, I mean, this goes back to the year 2000, but I did find something on a blog called the Peace Philosophers blog from September last year, and that's the latest I could find, and it's a little bit different than some of the original material that I had found in my research. So I can wait till the end if you like, and we'll play that video. But I just want to see if I can play it because it's so bloody funny.
Sorry guys,
right.
We've got technical issues. We'll try and get that sorted though, because it looked pretty interesting actually.
Oh, it's so funny. It just really, and you have to put your Aussie lingo ears on. You have to really listen hard because some of it's very, very Australian. Oh, here we go. I won't be able to see that on my video, unfortunately, but that's good.
Yeah, apologies folks. We'll get that sorted by the end of the show.
It's playing, Dumpster.
Oh, okay.
It's just not playing in Discord. Oh. All right, I'm going to continue with this. We'll sort this out later. Okay, so this, as I said, is from the Peace Philosophers blog. I have links to everything. I might just try to put them in after I finish my presentation so it doesn't mess up all kinds of stuff. So their description of the GESARA Act and currency reset. Now, when I say GESARA, just slash GESARA, because the G is for global, N is for national, being the United States. So this is their wording, and it's very similar on just about every single person that reports it. So GESARA is a United States government policy that was introduced to Congress in 2000 and passed. Now, I will add that there are conflicting reports throughout all of the information available on the GESARA Act that says it wasn't passed. So I can't prove either or disprove either. So they say it was passed but is yet to be enacted. This Economic Reform Act is intended to finally bring fairness and wealth to the little people in this world. Have you ever wondered why making a living was so hard for the majority whilst the minority elite made steady fortunes through their corporations? The number one thing to understand is that GESARA and GESARA are about to free the entire globe from debt slavery to the banks, but that is just the start. With it also comes the long-awaited release of free energy technology that will forever set mankind free from oil, gas, greedy energy companies and pollution. So what does the acronym GESARA stand for? It stands for National Economic Security and Reformation Act and refers to an act that was passed in 2000 by the American Congress but kept under wraps ever since. Now, I'll just pause there. Looking back with what I know now and what's going on right now, with the situation as far as the timing of how to bring in even portions of this act, it's quite clear. They didn't have the right timing back then. They had the wrong people in government who would not do it. They were too busy. These Clintons and Bushes and Obamas trying to rip off as much of money around the world that they could. So there was no way that this act was ever going to be introduced while they were in power. Okay, so GESARA is the global equivalent. These acts will have immediate and worldwide effects, that is, if they're passed, especially in financial sectors, and literally change the entire way this planet runs. So this is a big deal. This says right now in 2015, so these people have picked up this from 2015. We are seeing the death of the old financial system and the final readying of the new system that will take place of all the central banks, the IRS, the International Monetary Fund, and more. Amazing levels of cash have actually been stolen planet-wide, and this is what is about to be returned to us. To put this in terms people can understand, each man, woman and child on this world is about to receive a whopping deposit of cash into their bank accounts that is theirs forever to keep. And I will also side note this, I disagree emphatically about that comment. I do not believe that is true, and I do not believe that would be practical, and I will explain why later. To put this in terms, I've already read that bit. This will in fact set us free from odious financial slavery for the rest of our lives. Well, I hope that is definitely going to be a result of GESARA, or portions of it. Well, and this is another comment that I disagree with. If readers are still not following, we are about to be set free by the new system and never have to work again if we do not wish to. Well, someone has to. No more toiling as slaves 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. The money that is coming to us will probably ultimately morph into an even higher system whereby money is bypassed completely. Yet, since our world currency currently runs on currency, we still need currency in order to pay for what we need. However, the new currency will be gold-backed and be real currency, not the current fiat currency that can be printed by corporations out of thin air. People have believed the government printed US dollars, but in actuality, privately owned banks have been printing it and the money belongs to them. They can print what they like, when they like, and then loan it out to us whilst we pay interest to them. See how thoroughly corrupt the system has been. So I'm not going to go through everything that they put there. Okay, so I'll just skip to the release of suppressed technology. What will also shock many will be the understanding that we are well evolved past the combustion engine, what you have in your car. You could run cars for just a few cents since the 50s with many different technologies that use different fuels or free energy. Of course, if we did not have to buy gas, they could not take our money. So all the free energy technology has been hidden from us. There are many futuristic technologies that are going to make our lives so easy and are about to be announced. Imagine a world that is free, that has no energy bills to pay, no need to be a financial slave to any other person, corporation, or forced to hated work. Just imagine it. Global debt forgiveness. A lot of work has gone into creating GESARA, and it is to benefit the little person, not the super wealthy elite. As a financial measure, it is to reintroduce fairness back into the world that heavily favours the rich and powerful whilst the poorest become most impoverished and lose even more rights. This is occurring none too soon. GESARA will introduce global debt forgiveness. Recently, corporations via the TPP have been gaining the right to sue governments if a country stops a corporation from destroying the environment. Yes, you heard that right. The country of El Salvador is being sued by corporations who want to trash their environment for property, and apparently the government of El Salvador is not allowed to say no to the corporation. Corporations wish to rule over governments, and it is already happening. In Greece, the banks are making government policy, setting the tax levels and so on because Greece owes the bank money that the bank originally printed out of thin air. The banks are a scam, a massive fraud, and wish to take over all the planet and be the rulers. Well, so far they've succeeded, by the way. They're already doing it. The announcement of GESARA will cancel out all global debt. The banks will be finished and people will never have to pay those illegal taxes again. GESARA is very close. After all of the slow developments and delays, it is beginning to happen right now. China has already cancelled much of the debt owed to it by smaller nations. Individually, all of the illegal debt held against us will be cancelled. So watch this space because everything is about to change fast and for the better. Now, this is the final note from the author, and he says it's not a hoax. Those who are terrified of change, especially the rich elite, are resisting the enactment of GESARA, which is only a matter of time now. To believe that the world will simply stand still is forever is ridiculous, especially when we see an economically unfair system that is resulting in the banks ruling over countries and writing law. To me, that is a hoax. That is the hoax. You can see how fearful they are by their attempt to belittle GESARA or claim it never passed Congress. GESARA is not a hoax, and the whole world will know this very soon. And then humanity is going to party like it never has before. Now, that was by Ovi Sviden. He's a Swedish writer from the psychological... Peace Philosopher's blog. Now that was just interesting. That's fairly new to me, that document. But what I'd like to do is go through the actual points of the GESARA. This is my favourite article on GESARA, and it was written by. I hope I've got her. Yeah, written by Nancy Detweiler, back in. It was 2012. Okay, so these are the main points of what the Act is all about. zeroes out all credit card, mortgage and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. This is the Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee or a forgiveness of debt. It abolishes the income tax. Abolishes the IRS. Employees of the IRS will be transferred into the US Treasury National Sales Tax area. Creates a 14% flat rate non-essential new items only sales tax revenue for the government. In other words, food and medicine will not be taxed, nor will used items such as old homes or any second-hand stuff. Increases benefits to senior citizens. We need that worldwide. It's absolutely disgraceful how our senior citizens around the world are being treated by our governments. Returns constitutional law to all courts and legal matters. Reinstates the original title of nobility amendment. And if you're not sure about that amendment, it's where members of the British court or the British bar were not allowed to become members of Congress or the Senate and positions of trust. And I believe that's the Amendment number 13 of the Constitution that was removed. Reinstates, I've got that. Establishes new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days after Nasara's announcement. The interim government will cancel all national emergencies and return us back to constitutional law. I don't know if there's a few things in this that I'm a bit skeptical about, which is why, since I did the videos on all of that, was because I was mentioning the fact that there's certain things that I believe will happen, but there's quite a bunch of things that are just not quite right. I don't know how they would be able to just everybody disappear from Congress and the president and just hold elections. You would need an interim government to take care of that. Monitor elections and prevents illegal election activities of special interest groups, in other words, lobbyists. Obviously, definitely elections need monitoring, and I believe that they're already monitoring the illegal activities. So there's a big one that we have learnt about through Q. Creates a new US Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933. Okay, next. Forbids the sale of American birth certificate records as chattel. Property bonds by the US Department of Transportation. Initiates new US Treasury bank system in alignment with constitutional law. Well, that's where I think it links to what President Trump is doing right now. It would have to run side by side with the current system, but I believe all revenue would go to, this is my opinion here, would go to the Treasury rather than the Federal Reserve. It eliminates the Federal Reserve System. During the transition period, the Federal Reserve will be allowed to operate, side by side of the US Treasury for one more year in order to remove all Federal Reserve notes from the money supply. It would restore financial privacy. It would, it retrains all judges and attorneys in constitutional law. Ceases all aggressive US government military actions worldwide, establishes peace throughout the world. And what has he been doing? What has President Trump been doing since he was elected? That's all he's been doing. Ceasing aggressive military action worldwide. Releases enormous sums of money for humanitarian purposes. enables the release of over 6,000 patents of suppressed technologies that are being withheld from the public under the guise of national security, including free energy devices, anti-gravity and sonic healing machines. Now, one thing that's also missing from this list, because I didn't print all the documents, because some of them vary, but one of the ones that I have looked at, and that was the big video I did, the first video I did on GESARA, talked about giving each person or citizen in the United States $100,000 per month per citizen for 11 years. I just can't wrap my head around that. I can't see the sense of that. It makes me think that it kind of got me not believing the GESARA at all, because it just wouldn't make sense to have all of the citizens in any country not needing money because they've got all this money that they can buy all this stuff with. But if nobody works, there's nobody to make the stuff that they want to buy. So I'm a little bit sceptical about that. I do believe that the citizens of every country in the world that have been, which is every country in the world that have been hurt and debt slaved by central banks, and the central banks are owned by the same people. I believe that we will be looked after and released from our, as I said, from our debt slavery. Okay, Dumpster. Questions?
Okay, I've got a million.
Before I go into timeline. Before I go into a timeline, that's all.
Sure. Bravo, Kaz. You've got me hooked. This is awesome. The one question that I'll get you to answer now comes from Puppy Max out in chat. And what do you think is the timeline for GESARA? How imminent is it?
I think that's what I was talking about in the beginning with what's going on at the moment and the timing of what President Trump's doing. He's looking for zero payroll tax. Now, in the USA, it's called payroll tax, Dumpster, but here it's like our income tax. It's our PAYG. What happens if he gets it down to zero? What happens, because he's in emergency times, he's created an executive order and sought the help of getting it down as low as he can, because I don't think they've awarded him a zero. But what happens when this is all over? Is he going to put it up again? I doubt it. So to me, it just smacks of, oh, well, he snuck that one in. That's the one about removing the IRS, because if the IRS aren't collecting any income tax, what use are they? And I don't know if everybody knows, but the IRS, I think most of you do, the IRS is a private corporation that is run out of Puerto Rico. So that's a definite remove the IRS, but I that just links completely to me what's happening today and the things that President Trump is implementing. He's helping the people first. First of all, if you go to work each day and get a paycheck and your payroll tax comes out of that, or your PAYG or whatever they call it in your country, you're not left with a lot of money because a portion of it goes to the government. What President Trump is trying to do is say, hey, let's not take this money off our workers and let them have more money in their pockets, and then they will use that money to spend locally and support the local businesses. He's also supporting businesses to stay liquid by providing low interest loans, and I would suggest in some situations probably zero interest loans. So if you look at that from that perspective, you can see that it's happening. He's bringing it in. They've been waiting for this. They've had this planned for a long time. They knew this was coming. They knew they were going to get hit with this by the cabal, the deep state. They knew, and they were fully prepared for what they were going to do to flip it on them and bring in what they actually wanted to do, which is, there's many portions of the GESARA involved in that. If that makes any sense, Puppy Max, I hope that does.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this is the article, and I really loved doing this one when I was recording this for my YouTube channel, because Nancy goes right into this about the history, and it's quite long, and I'm not going to read it all because I've done a video on it. So I will give you a link to the video and you can go and listen to the whole lot. But I'll give you a brief timeline. But I would like to read out what she actually puts as a note right at the beginning of the history of GESARA. She says, note, writing a history of GESARA requires locating the separate dots and attempting to put them together to create truth. The original documents are sequestered, and those individuals directly involved are still under a strict gag order. I have used as my foundation a history written by James Rink, and that's Rink, R-I-N-K. My research sets out to prove GESARA by locating original documents and articles written by reputable people that illustrated each of the tenets. I have inserted some of these URLs for these tenets into Rink's history. In my 7+ years of research, I have found nothing to disprove the existence of the GESARA law. The internet is loaded with disinformation that can be easily dismissed by research. Now that information regarding the government military cover-up of the extraterrestrial presence is in the public domain, we can see parallels of the facets regarding GESARA that many have used to discredit it. Some of these are deliberate cover-up of information, government military gag orders, the suspicious death of persons who attempted to tell the truth, control of the media and the running of the individual lives, ruining of the individual lives and professions. I encourage you all to do your own research and add to the pool of documented evidence on the truth of GESARA. And now is the perfect time for GESARA to be released to the world. Now, that's the second person that said the same thing, and these were a few years apart. And remember, they're all quoting on a document that was meant to have been passed/not passed in the year 2000. So we're 20 years down the track, and the timing has not been right. As I said before, the wrong people were in government. There was no way that Obama's administration was going to let this go through. And when I can do some more, again, I'll be talking more about the White Hats reports that I did, all of those. They followed the money, and Mitt Romney, almost $1 billion he skimmed through fraudulent stealing from transfers from trusts. And also Joe Biden, and I've known about this for a couple of years, Joe Biden took a $100 million bribe from Barack Obama to shut him up about when Biden discovered what was going on. Now, I know he's a creep and he's a thief anyway, but $100 million he received for shutting his mouth. But that's another story. That's the White Hats reports, and it all these things happen. So when you look at GESARA, how was it ever going to be released or implemented while all of these crooks were running the world?
May I make a comment, Kaz?
Of course.
Okay, so GESARA, at the very least, that will wipe out the financial arm of the cabal completely. At the very least.
I'm sorry, Dumpster. I have to ask you to say that again because my son is cheering his head off for the football and I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, okay. So at the very least, very least, GESARA will wipe out the financial arm of the cabal. That's amazing.
Well, from a lot of reports, they already have. I think they've been cut off. I mean, if you start, putting everything together, you look at the cutting off of their human trafficking efforts, the cutting off of their drug trafficking, their human trafficking, their arms trafficking. That all made them billions and billions of dollars. It was their cash flow. And also, too, they were stealing money through Congress. Is it appropriations? They were sending money to places like, what is it, Planned Parenthood and all these slush funds in all these foundations. So they've just been ripping everything blind, but that's stopped. Trump has stopped all of that. So they're scrambling for money. How do you get money when you've got none? You create a crisis, don't you?
Yep. I mean, I've got a million questions to discuss with you, but I'll let you roll with the presentation. The flow is fantastic. Go for it, Kaz.
Okay, I'll try and keep this brief with the timeline because it can get quite wordy, and I, as I said, I've got the video. If you want to listen to the video after, it's about an hour, and I'm nearly up to my hour. Okay, so 1892, Dumpster, bankers adopted their Bankers Manifesto of 1892, in which it was declared, we the bankers must proceed with caution and guard every move made, for the lower order of people are already showing signs of restless commotion. Prudence will therefore show a policy of apparently yielding to the popular, I think that should say population, will, until our plans are so far consummated that we can declare our designs without fear of any organised resistance. In other words, the sheep will have to be totally convinced before that, they've got to be, complicit in what we're doing. The Farmers Alliance and Knights of Labour organisations in the United States should be carefully watched by our trusted men, and we must take immediate steps to control these organisations in our interest or disrupt them. The courts must be called to our aid, debts must be collected, bonds and mortgages foreclosed as rapidly as possible. When through the process of the law, the common people have lost their homes, they will be more tractable and easily governed through the influence of the strong arm of the government applied to central power of imperial wealth under the control of the leading financiers. People without homes will not quarrel with their leaders. Don't know about that. 1907 to 1917, in order to warn Americans, the 1892 Bankers Manifesto was revealed by US Congressman Charles H. Lindbergh, senior from Minnesota, before the US Congress sometime during his term of office between the years of 1907 and 1917. 1910, John E. Donato, Professor of Public Policy and Economics at the University of Michigan, writes in his article, The Federal Reserve Act. On the night of November 22nd, 1910, a small group of surrogates of the most powerful bankers of the world meet under the veil of utmost secrecy. Over the next few weeks, these men would perpetrate, under the order perhaps the most colossal and devastating fraud ever inflicted upon the American people. This ultra-secret fraud is known as the Federal Reserve Act of 1913. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 concocted legislation to be foisted upon the People's Congress of the United States that empowered and commissioned this secret cabal of world-dominant bankers to print United States currency, a usurpation of our Constitution's explicit edict empowering only the United States government to print and coin currency. This world banking empire used their stolen power to print out of thin air paper currency which in no way represents the gold and silver reserves that authentic currency is supposed to represent. And in this article, she provides, in 1913, she provides a link to the copy of the complete act. So from 1930, we skip to 1933-34. Prior to 1933, the Federal Reserve notes were backed by gold. This changed with the new law. Congressional Record, March 9th, 1933, on HR 1491, page 83. Under the new law, the money is issued to the banks in return for government obligations, bills of exchange, drafts, notes, trade acceptances, and bankers' acceptances. The money will be worth 100 cents on the dollar because it is backed by the credit of the nation. It will represent a mortgage on all the homes and other property of all the people of the nation. The Bankers Manifesto ties in with the US Senate document number 43, 73rd Congress, first session, 1934, which states the ultimate ownership of all property is in the state. Individual so-called ownership is only by virtue of the government, i.e., law amounting to mere user and use must be in acceptance with law and subordinate to the necessities of, I think it's the state. Staples in the way. Okay, and we skip straight through to the 1970s. The Federal Land Bank illegally foreclosed on farmers' mortgages all throughout the Midwest. In each of these cases, the farmers were defrauded by the banks with the approval of the Federal Reserve System. These court cases would eventually become known as Farmers' Claims Program. Got a sore finger.
I've got a million questions. I heard.
Please ask.
I don't know. I'll leave it till the end of the presentation, and hopefully we can do a question and answer.
I don't know. See, when we go to 1978, we exclusively start talking about all the farmers' problems, and it might be wise if I leave that because that is a huge part of it, but lengthy part of it, and I would probably be best to direct our YouTube chat to the video itself because I've already read it out once on there. So that goes all the way to the 1990s, and so I can pick that up there. The main hero in the farmers' claims was Roy Schwasinger. And I'll pick up in the 1990s. In the early 1990s, Roy Schwasinger brought the case before the United States Supreme Court. Some of the content of this case is sealed from public eyes, but most of it can be viewed today. The US Supreme Court justices ruled that the Farmers Union claims were indeed valid. Therefore, all property foreclosed by the farmers' credit system was illegal, and all those who were foreclosed on would have to receive damages. In addition, they ruled that the US federal government and banks had defrauded the farmers and all US citizens out of vast sums of money and property. Furthermore, the court ruled the shocking truth that the IRS was a Puerto Rican trust. So you can read more. There's a link there. In addition, the court ruled that the Federal Reserve was unlawful. And there is another link there. It isn't to a government site, unfortunately. There's actually 3 links there. That the income tax amendment was only ratified by 4 states and therefore was not a legal amendment. That the IRS code was not enacted into positive law within the Code of Federal Regulations. Positive law equals laws that have been enacted by a properly instituted and recognised branch of government. The US government illegally foreclosed on farmers' homes with help from federal agencies, presented by a retired CIA agent. He provided testimony and records of the bank's illegal activities as further evidence that the farmers' union claims were indeed legitimate. The implications of such a decision were profound. All gold, silver and property titles taken by the Federal Reserve and IRS must be returned to the people. Okay, and there's more there. With the help of a covert congressional and political pressure, President George H.W. Bush issued an executive order on 23rd of October 1991, which provided a provision allowing anyone who has a claim against the federal government to receive payment as long as it's within the rules of the original format of the case. You may read Executive Order number 12778 at the URL below. Executive Order number 12778, Principles of Ethical Conduct for Government, Officers and Employees, October 23rd, 1991. As if George W. Bush would would even pen anything that had the word ethical in it. According to the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, all present and succeeding debts against the US Treasury must be assumed by the Federal Reserve. Thus, the Farmers' Claims legal team was able to use that executive order not only to force the Federal Reserve to pay out damages in a gold-backed currency, but also allow them to receive legal ownership over the bankruptcy of the United States Inc. Okay, so that's another one that you can go into with more links, etc. Going to 1991, I'm skipping a fair bit because there's a lot to digest here, and there's not enough time for us to get through it all. The US Supreme Court placed a gag order on the case, and it was the case that decided that they had to pay the farmers. Struck all information from the Federal Registry and placed all records in the Supreme Court files. Up to that point, Senator Sam Nunn had kept the Baskerville case records within his office. A settlement was agreed to out of court, and the decision was sealed by Janet Reno. Whoa, she was one cookie, that one. Because the case was sealed, claimants are not allowed to share court documents to media outlets without violating the settlement, but they can still tell others about the lawsuit. This is why you probably have not heard about this. In 1992, a task force was put together consisting of over 300 retired and 35 active US military officers who strongly supported constitutional law. What does that sound like?
The beginning of the White Hat Plan. Can I just do a quick mic test?
Yes.
Is this better?
You're a little bit more muffled.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah.
And you're spot on. It sounds like the beginning of the White Hats Plan. It may have gone back a lot longer than that, but in here in 1990, well, then she's not even saying it, but I'm linking it myself. This task force was responsible for investigating governmental officials, congressional officers, judges, and the Federal Reserve. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Jeremy Borda, B-O-O-R-D-A, Borda, General David McLeod, former Director of Central Intelligence William Colby on multiple presentations of different reports on. They uncovered the common practice of bribery and extortion committed by both senators and judges. The criminal activity was so rampant that only 2 out of 535 members of Congress were deemed honest. But more importantly, they carried out the first ever audit of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve was accustomed to giving orders to politicians and had no intention of being audited. However, after they were informed their offices would be raided under military gunpoint if necessary, they complied with the investigation. After reviewing their files, the military office found $800 trillion sitting in accounts which should have been applied to the national debt. And contrary to federal government propaganda, they also discovered that most nations had in fact owed money to the United States instead of the other way around. These hidden trillions were then confiscated and placed into European bank accounts in order to generate the enormous funds needed to pay the farmers' claims class action lawsuit. Later, this money would become the basis of the prosperity programs. So, and a lot of these trusts, etc., and it was all stolen. Okay, so I don't think I'll go too far. Where do we get up to? We get up to 94. Clinton undermined everything when he was in office. He also undermined the actual. Well, no, the story is, and this is, I'm a bit sceptical about this, that he was held at gunpoint and made to sign GESARA into law, and then Bush wouldn't release it. So.
May I ask a question, please, Kaz?
Sure, Dumpster.
Sure. So 9/11, that was synchronous with the actual GESARA Act being initiated.
Absolutely. it was supposed to be initiated on 9/11, but George Bush Senior gave the order to. Well, they had that already pre-planned. That was planned for months and months and months. I've got another video on that too, whereby they knew it was going to happen because they had a deadline that they had to put the act into effect. And so instead of putting the act into effect, they caused the situation of 9/11, which was just so sad.
Yeah, there
So
was a whole bunch of circumstances around 9/11 that were very, very convenient for the cabal. It's a very important point in history.
oh yes, indeed, and I could be on a 24/7 channel, and providing all the linked information, and still not have enough time to go to explain it all because it is just so. Well, what Q says is, the spider web.
Do you reckon you can find a little bit of time for a question and answer? Because I've got a whole ton of questions to pick your brain, and I'm sure there's questions from chat as well.
Yeah, yep, no worries. I'll just finish off this and get to the most current time on this document. So the military generals who originally participated in the farmers' claim process realised that the US Supreme Court justices had no intentions of implementing the accords. So they decided the only way to implement the reformations was through a law passed by Congress. That was in 1998. 1999, a 75-page document known as the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, NESARA, was submitted to Congress, where it sat with little action for almost a year. Year 2000, late one evening on March 9th, 2000, a written quorum call was delivered by Delta Force and Navy SEALs to 15 members of the US Senate and the US House, who were sponsors and co-sponsors of NESARA. They were immediately escorted by the Delta Force and Navy SEALs to their respective voting chambers where they passed the National Economic Security and Reformation Act. These 15 members of Congress were the only people lawfully allowed to hold office in accordance with the original 13th Amendment. Remember, British soldiers destroyed copies of the titles of Nobility Amendment, which is name is Tuna, in the War of 1812 because it prevented any of England from holding public office. Now we're starting to bring clones in here, and she does make a point about clones in themselves, but that she didn't actually believe they were, but they're coming up too often to dismiss them. October 10th, 2000, because President Clinton's clone had no interest in signing NESARA into law, on October 10th, under orders from the US military generals, the elite Navy SEALs and Delta Force stormed the White House and under gunpoint forced Bill Clinton to sign NESARA. During this time, Secret Service and White House security personnel were ordered to stand down, disarmed, and allowed to witness this event under a gag order. From its very inception, Bush Senior, the corporate government, major bank houses, and the Carlyle Group have opposed NESARA. To maintain secrecy, the case details and the docket number were sealed and revised within the official Congressional Registry to reflect a commemorative coin, and then again it was revised even more recently. This is why there are no public congressional records and why a search for this law will not yield the correct details until after the reformations are made public. There's much more, but there's not enough time to... and then September 11, the next step is to announce NESARA to the world, but it's not an easy task. Many powerful groups have tried to prevent the implementation of NESARA. The NESARA law requires that at least once a year an effort be made to announce the law to the public. Three then current US Supreme Court judges control the committee in charge of NESARA's announcement. These judges have used their overall authority to secretly sabotage NESARA's announcement. And there's more. I briefly explained about Senior ordering the demolition of the Twin Towers, and et cetera, but if I can, I'll get those all those links, and everybody can have a good old listen to me, or I also link the documents in the description of the videos.
Awesome. You said somewhere that this NESARA and guns being pulled on the president and so forth, was that possibly a proto-Q plan way back then?
I don't know. I've read it in all of the documents that I have sourced, and they all say the same thing. So I don't know. I can't prove or disprove any of it. Any of the NESARA GESARA. It's definitely something that we need to big parts of it we need for the world, but when we look at how far, or think about how far back Q Team formed, and the people that wanted President Trump to run, some decades ago, you have to kind of think that maybe GESARA is the real deal, except for the bits about the money. I can't do it. I can't do the 100,000 a month.
Too good to be true. That's what it sounds like.
Well, that portion of it is, and I just noticed, in the document that, which is my favourite one that I do, where she puts in her timeline, and she seems to have researched it more than anyone else. The other one, the first NESARA video I did was massive. It covered other history, involving the Prime Minister of the UK and Bill Clinton more so, and there's a lot of different info in there as well. But that one was the one that I think that was the one that covered, or it might have been one of those Dinar Chronicles. So I went searching and looking for more info, and I found that Dinar Chronicles, and that was when I first saw the RV and I really didn't dig deep into it, but then I just got slammed with information on it, and I was just like, oh my goodness, dinars and dongs and I totally don't agree that there will be an RV. So, prove me wrong. Anybody who wants to prove me wrong, go ahead. But there's it's the whole situation with this RV or GCR or whatever it is. It's always next week. Next week.
There has been precedent for this kind of activity before. I believe there was a global debt jubilee at the close of World War II.
Yeah, so I haven't gone that deep. So I can only go by what I've actually looked at and researched, etc. So, yeah. As I said, I've got links and all kinds of stuff, and so once I've finished with my Zoom, etc., I'll just drop everything for the chat.
And Puppy Max had a great comment. He said that 9/11 was the beginning of World War III. That's when this plan went into motion. That's when Q Team decided, probably then, that they were going to do it legally and not a hot open coup.
Yeah, it must have been a big shock to a lot of the patriots, and they've just gone, enough is enough. That we've got to stop these people. We have to stop these people. That was just devastating what they did. And also the amount of people that knew it was going to happen before it happened, months and months and months, and the poor Iraqi people who knew about it, or the people in the Iraqi diplomats and government knew that it was going to happen, and they were coerced into basically lying about having weapons of mass destruction so that there could be another war. So I just feel for the Iraqis, what they've been through because of the Bushes and the Clintons and everybody else that was involved. It was shocking. But that's them. That's what they do. They'll do anything. You know, crisis. You know, we need to do this. We need to be the saviors of the people. So let's have a war. Let's have a pandemic. We need them back on our side. We need to save them. We're getting too close to knowing, being awake, and sadly, we're ahead of them.
Blood sacrifice as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's just their entertainment. You know, it goes beyond. You know, you think your brain's stretched enough to fit it all in, but sometimes it's difficult. Hey, Dumpster.
You're doing an excellent job in processing the information so far. I'm absolutely thrilled. This is good content.
Well, I've just about run out of steam, and I don't think I'm going to be able to show my video on my funny video, because unless Oz&On can do it again, but I might be able to do it myself if I no, I can't, because I want it. Well, yeah, no, I might be able to do it myself. So what I'll say is thank you everyone for listening. It wasn't. I know I'm not perfect. I can only provide information that I have researched, I've found. I give you my opinion, and then you can take it away, chew on it, and just decide whether it's information that you can discern, and it's all up to you. I mean, we've been doing that for a few years now, all of us, so I think you'd be able to figure that out. But hope is hope. You know, GESARA has a huge hope factor attached to it, but I would advise not to put too much hope on all of it. There's, which I haven't mentioned yet, well, maybe I have. There's two acts that were presented to Congress in 2015, and that's the HR 24 and HR 25, and you can actually go to Congress and look those up. They haven't been passed. I'm not sure which order. I haven't got anything open to show it. One of them is to audit the Fed, and the other one is to close down the IRS and introduce a flat sales tax. And that is all over GESARA. And the audit of the Fed would shut down the Fed, so that's also all over GESARA. So there are portions, as I keep saying, portions of GESARA all over the place that can be proven. So there you go.
Yeah, mountains and mountains of circumstantial evidence, and we've just got to sit back and see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely. And be aware, just looking at today's activities, the activities that President Trump has slowly been implementing in his 3 and a bit years of presidency, he has been making moves to bring down the Fed. He is always at them in press conferences, telling them that they should be reducing the interest rate, not increasing it. He's all making sure that he is vocal about it, and that in the end, when they do fail, he can solely say, well, you know, I told him so. And there was one other thing I was, and I missed saying it, and that was in the situation. Preppers. All the preppers are laughing now. When we're talking about this virus, because we've all been told, even by Q, make sure you have 2 weeks supply of this, and this, because at some stage you will need them. And you can hear the preppers all around the world laughing and saying, we know, we did it.
Oh, there's a lot of told you so's in the pipeline, I can tell you that much, Kaz.
There's a lot of what?
Told you so's.
I still don't know what that is.
No. I'm just saying that people in our position, we are used to being mocked for our beliefs. we're being vindicated right now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That is definitely a fact. So yeah, what I will do is I'll hand back over to Dumpster now. I'm going to switch over to my phone and go and if you need any contribution for me and by me, I'll be listening. And thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank KAZ. Bravo. Excellent information. Very relevant, very timely. And maybe we could have a couple of songs, Carmen.
KAZ, thank you. So glad you presented that. Everybody's giving me good feedback.
Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
It was. You still got me boggling over Chattel birth certificates. I've got some homework to do, I guess.
That's a whole nother subject. Huge subject. But don't get me started. I'm not going to get into it. It's Friday night. I'm not getting into it tonight.
When you were talking about getting buckets and buckets of money, like $100,000 a month for 11 years or something ridiculous, my personal opinion is bugger the money. I'll be happy with freedom.
Absolutely. But, you have to look at the situation with common sense. You can't just give everybody in the world all the money they would ever need or couldn't even spend, because if everybody decided not to work, everything would collapse. The economy would literally collapse. You'd have nobody running the infrastructure, the transportation systems. You'd have no manufacturing because no one would want to go to work. Why should I? I've got all this money. I have all the money in the world, but if you can't buy anything with it, there's no point in having it. So, as I said, I do believe that everybody should be brought out of debt slavery and brought up to speed with good nutrition, good, fresh, clean air, no more chemtrails, no more geoengineering, which we have copped big time in this country in the last 6 months or more. And I'm just about fed up with this geoengineering. And if you haven't been following on YouTube, follow Mike Morales. He is the bomb on exposing chemtrails and bunker fuel. If you've never heard of bunker fuel until I listened to Mike Morales, he exposes it daily, and he concentrates a lot on Australia and our side of the world because of the fact that we have been hit so hard. And it's par for the course. California is always being hit because they've had similar wildfires, but their weather is being totally and utterly controlled daily, and so is ours. It's disgraceful. So Mike Morales, his surname is capital Morales. Mike Morales. If you are not following him on YouTube, you've got to follow him. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Excellent.
He also gives you the HARP updates and
yes, earthquakes, everything. The what do you call it? The what are the rivers in the sky? The
chemtrails. He Mr.
No,
the vortex.
Tide rivers.
No, what does he say? I don't know.
Jet streams.
No, they're rivers. He calls them the anyway, I go listen to him because then you'll figure it out really quickly. He's amazing. I try to tell people we've got chemtrails and that the weather was controlled, because we had lots and lots of sorrow and drama with our fires, and people lost lives and all their homes. And you even think about trying to say to someone, well, they were geoengineered. People just look at you and want to kill you. But if they knew, and Mike Morales has got proof.
Is it atmospheric river?
That's it, atmospheric river. That's it.
Okay, well, if you look over the period of these projects that have these special names that bring about HARP and stuff, cloud seeding was done in the 60s, I guess, to bring about some kind of economical not collapse, or a build up, something to cause a supply and demand in the market, I'm sure. And then it just advanced from centuries. Puppy?
Yeah, what happened in California with the fires was replicated almost to a T in Australia. There was a plan for a high-speed rail network between Sydney and Melbourne, and the path of the fires matched the proposed rail network. And I believe it was exactly the same situation in Cali. Those fires were not natural; they just weren't. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say direct energy weapons, but it was definitely a coordinated geoengineering attack on our country.
Oh yeah, I would say direct energy weapons for sure, because you go back and look at Mike Morales' videos back around about that time, and he'll sort it out for you. It wasn't just we were getting slammed, and they create our cyclones too. So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Final point. What does GESARA mean for places like Africa that are dirt poor? Is this going to be an even rollout across the planet, or are we going to have different standards for people? I mean, well, how does this play out for the least of us?
What I understand about GESARA is every country will have their assets will be what their in-ground assets are worth, and I suppose all of their collective, people's homes are assets, etc., to a country. So there's a lot of in-ground assets in Africa that they've never been allowed to have. It's always been circumnavigated to thieves, like big rich companies that mine for diamonds and gold and all that kind of stuff. So that would, in my opinion, they would be returned to the people, as would their liquid assets, like their gold, their above ground assets that have been taken from them as well, like gold and silver and other gems and things like that. That's the only way I could think of answering that question, and that will roll out obviously slowly, I would imagine.
That was a big dose of welcome good news. And at the very least, GESARA or something like it, that's a death blow to the financial arm of the cabal. I mean, that's the takeaway from this presentation for me.
Yeah, well, their time's up.
Yep, and it's happening right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and getting back towards the suppressed technology, things like thorium salt batteries, stuff like that, it's going to change everything. The economy of the future is going to be completely unique. There's no precedent that has been set.
Yep. The world will be changing, and it'll change for the good. It'll take a while, but I think we've been patient enough. We've been patient to now. I think we can be patient when good is happening, rather than patient when bad is happening. It'll be a different outlook on everything, and so many people will want to chip in and help, and because that's we weren't born to be debt slaves and slaves to the cabal. We were born to be free.
Okay, if you want to wrap it up, Kaz.
Oh no, I've wrapped it up. I've already wrapped it up. I ended up bringing myself back in, so I'll say thank you, everybody. I am going to swap over to my phone, and I'm also going to drop all of those links that I promised.
And remember, guys, there's no substitute for your own research. Get digging on your own. Make up your own mind. Find your own information. You've got the most powerful source of information ever right in front of you right now.
Good morning, guys.
G'day, Scope. How you doing, brother?
Oh, doing well. Listening to the program and learning so much. And
Outstanding job in the presentation with the GESARA. Been following that for quite a while. And a lot of the information that was covered here I have read and have stocked away and kept for myself. And it's just outstanding to hear this topic brought out into the public.
And it happened at exactly the right time, I think. KAZ is absolutely on point. People need to know this kind of information, and they need to know it now.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree.
Hello, Scope.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah, so hit up KAZ's channel. You'll find a whole library of resources there.
Good morning, Scope.
And good morning to you. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to disrupt the chat, but just wanted to say hello. I'm going to be on my walk soon, and wanted to just say that it's a pleasure being here listening to what you guys do. Outstanding job, everyone.
Thank you so much, Scope. If we show a little bit of heart, people are going to be able to overlook the ragged edges. And we're up, we're effective, we're doing it.
Yeah, I know. And, these are the seeds that were planted long ago, and it's great to see them bear fruit.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. You're invited back anytime, and if you're so inclined, please share our channel. We would appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to tell everyone and anyone who will listen.
Because we're not going to shut up. We're going to keep it going.
You know it. We're going to turn the volume up as of next week. That much is absolutely certain. And if you've enjoyed the program, you can thank us all by sharing the link with other interested parties. Let's grow this channel. Let's make something special.
Agreed.
I did resummon the bot if you want me to try to play that link. And remember, it won't show pictures, it just plays the sound, if it works.
Okay, let's have a song, Carmen. And then we can have a bit of a chat and then round out the show.
It was KAZ's video. Okay, and it says no matches. It's not going to play.
I was hoping KAZ would be able to play it after she switches off recording. Maybe.
Sure.
I'll try.
Sure, yeah.
Hello, everyone. G'day.
Hey, you just stepped off the waterfall.
Oh, she's talking.
She's actually doing it. She's mic'd up. Anon, no longer. You are part of the, part of the plan. Frontline infantry.
No, I'm not.
Deny it all you want to, but you're one of us.
Thank you, friends.
Okay, we don't want dead air. Can we play a couple of songs? Or maybe we can wrap the show up.
Well, there was one question that I was going to ask Jazz. I don't know if she's still available. I guess maybe she'll be coming on a little later.
She's still in the room. You might get an answer out of her. But if you put the question to the room, maybe we can come up with a decent response.
Okay, I'll try. I hope you can hear me okay. I was just wondering in your research if you had ever come across the man by the name of Neil Keenan.
I believe that name was actually mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Oh, I must have missed that. I'm sorry.
Do you want a song while Kaz tries to get everything sorted?
Yes, please, very much so. Okie dokes, folks. We've got the team assembled. We are an effective unit going forward in the next week. We will be Johnny on the spot with information. It'll be timely. It'll be relevant. It might not be pretty, and it might not be a slick presentation. But we've got everything we need to gather information and share it with the world. So right about now would be a really great time to spread the word about the channel. Let's grow this. Let's try and let's try and do our very best. That's all I'm asking. And I'm really sorry about the audio this evening, guys. I'll have that cleared up. Hey, Laura Heath is here. If we play one more song, do you reckon you could give us a Q status update? I always look forward to your analysis, Laura, and it's so good to have you on board at the moment. Good morning. We can stick around for a little while and see what the 1 and 2 year deltas are. And if you don't know what 1 and 2 year deltas are, and if you don't know what QAnon is, like I said, do your own research and decide for yourself. There is a very informative introductory video called The Storm, or something similar. If someone can drop the link to that into Discord and also into YouTube. Everyone knows that stuff is up at the moment. Everyone knows that something big is going on, but very few people can actually put their finger on it at the moment. Basically what I'm saying is that the population is primed for this kind of information. Everyone knows something's up. Everyone can feel the tension. And the next 6 weeks, I think, will be transformative, absolutely transformative. We are living through a very special time in history, and we will look back on the 19th century as a dark age of humanity. But looking forward, our future is a shining, bright one at that. We just had some really good news from KAZ about GESARA, which at the very least looks like wiping out the corrupt, evil money system that we've been living under for hundreds of years. KAZ did an absolutely outstanding job. She's welcome back at any time, for any reason, under any circumstances, and hopefully she will grace us again with her presence. And I will repeat, in the coming week, we're going to turn up the volume a little bit. We're going to try and scoot around the YouTube censorship algorithms, and we will be bringing you solid news. And remember that we are the news now. Platforms like this are the future. And Info Warrior, dark to light. And remember, guys, it's always darkest just before the dawn. I think that's a very good analogy for where we are at the moment. So reach out to your friends and family. Don't tell them I told you so. Don't tell them anything like that. Just open the door for them to this new kind of information. Let them take that step themselves. And, yeah.
Time for a song, brother?
Yeah, I'm actually waiting on Laura Heath. She's still trying to wake up. It's okay, Laura. Don't stress yourself. Let's have a song, and then we'll think about wrapping up the show. Something positive, something nice and happy. Puppy Max just dropped the video that I just referenced. If someone can grab that link and drop it into YouTube, that'd be fantastic. I see Benji out in chat. Do you want to grab that Joe M video and make sure it's available to people who might not be familiar with Q? Q is a pretty difficult concept for some people to swallow. And at this point, I can understand why. People are cynical. People are really fed up, and they just simply do not trust politicians. And but Trump is not a politician. Trump is a businessman, and he's a good and decent man. This is good. What we are going through at the moment is a positive experience. It really is.
Hey, Dumps. Can you give Puppy his ranch? Right now I'm getting my troll on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm getting feedback, about the program, and they're gathering their questions.
It's okay, I'll drop it in for you, no problem.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks, Oz. And Puppy, I'll get you that link. Sorry, not the wrench, sorry. And Principal Driven is here. Good to see you.
Yeah, they're waking up over on Facebook, so they said give them a minute to comb their hair and at least get their spectacles on their face and turn on the lamp. I'm just the message lady. That's all I am.
And I haven't even gotten into the woo-woo stuff about our future. There are a whole range of technologies that are going to be made available to us that will transform our lives. And when we clean up the world, we'll be in control of the technology. That much is certain. Things like thorium salt batteries, gravidoelectrics, zero-point energy. And I may actually bring that topic to your attention at a later date. X-type technology, suppressed technology, hidden history, that sort of thing. And I know just the man who would help me to explore that topic. But for the moment, our immediate objectives are for next week is to get on top of this unfolding situation. It's a critical situation. And like I said, this team is perfectly placed to respond to the environment. The presentation probably won't be pretty. It won't be polished, but the information will be factual and relevant and required operating knowledge to navigate your way through this world at the moment.
What I'm so thrilled about this information that's here on this channel is it's so well grounded.
Yes, absolutely, Scope. This is an absolutely crack team. And we will get the format down pat. We will deal with the technology. And I look forward to bringing you guys information. I really do. Let me just say that every person on the planet at the moment, whether they know it or not, they have skin in this game. They are invested. They are going to be affected by the plan. And the population at the moment is primed for this kind of information. It really is. It's fertile ground.
Dumpster, just on that subject, it's very...
Yes, Kaz, go ahead, please.
The situation at the moment with, all of the declaring states of emergency and city, all the sports events shutting down, and it's a perfect audience for all the revelations to be revealed and arrests to be made.
Exactly. It's time to buckle up. It really is.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I can't wait. So I'd say this push to talk keeps messing up on me. So get your popcorn out, because I don't eat popcorn very often, but get whatever out you want to have, your wine, your beer, your tacos, or whatever. Because we've been waiting for this.
We have. Kaz, let me just say, and to the rest of the team as well, everything we've done up until this point has been a dress rehearsal. And we will be up and running. We will be effective and responsive and an important source of information.
Yep. I've got hundreds of videos that I can go back and go, wow, and just go, wow, the amount of research. I know what you and I did. From 2 years ago, we were just always digging and finding new information and putting it out daily. It was exhausting, but we always said it was worth every minute of it, because it was eye-opening and mind-boggling to us, and there was a lot of people out there that just didn't know.
That's a really good point, Kaz. You and I have put in thousands of hours behind the microphone, and literally thousands of hours probably. And we are in a very, very privileged position. We have information, and that information can actually change the world. We just have to transmit the information. Information will empower people. I can't put it any plainer than that.
Yep, one person at a time. And you know, I feel privileged to have done my bit by putting in all those hours. And you know, and as you were just saying, you know, I know me personally, I put in more hours behind the scenes than I did on air, and because I needed to educate myself before I could pass out, you know, the information I had found. Not saying that it was all gospel, but it was something to think about and explore and figure out for ourselves. So, you know, we've educated ourselves along the way so that we're able to try to articulate as best we can the information that we've absorbed.
And I don't want to sound like a wanker, but me and Kaz, we actually know what's going on. We've got a handle on most of the topics. We're very well situated to deal with this sequence of events. That much is sure.
Wanker, hey? Oh, you're going to get the didgeridoo out next.
Oh, special occasions only. First big perp walk, and yeah, I've got the didge. Not tonight. Maybe not Monday night, but sooner or later. The story behind the didgeridoo is this. When Aboriginal people have their corroboree, their dancing ceremonies and so forth, the man playing the didgeridoo drives away evil spirits. An evil spirit cannot come within earshot of the didgeridoo. And I'm not. Let's just say I don't walk under ladders, but I'm not superstitious either, and it seems to work for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Just pass on the information to other people. Pass on the link, and yeah.
I just hope you've been practicing and that you're better than you were the last time I heard you.
Well, you know, there's a thought that it's the frequency of vibration that doesn't allow them to manifest. So hats off to you. That's a hard thing to do, and I would be interested in hearing it myself.
Yeah, like I said, not today, mate, but tune in when I've got a reason to celebrate. When we get some good news, I mean really good news, I will definitely play the didge.
Well, I'm in the States, in the Northeast, and it was just released today that there's going to be 3 of our states that are going to be shutting down kindergarten through 12th grade for the next 3 weeks. So no school in these states for the next 3 weeks.
We're copying it as well too, Scope. We've there was announced today that any event, so with more than 500 people, were cancelled. It was announced by our Prime Minister. So it's accelerating here very quickly. And by the way, could you please send over a nice little Learjet to pick up the Hankses, because they're too close for comfort for me. They're about 20 kilometres away in our regional hospital, and we don't want them.
Isn't it funny?
We don't want them either.
Sorry, Carmi, go ahead, hon.
I just said we don't want them either.
Yeah, we'll send over one of those barges, and they can take a long boat ride to somewhere other than where you're at today. I tell you, the limit on allowing people to gather, I believe, will help during the if there is any disruption or any groups of people out there who would like to get together to protest in a nefarious way. This gives a legal stand to be able to squash those groups that are that are thinking about amassing and disrupting normal things in each and every day that we go through this process.
On that note, mate, do you reckon you could send us a few thousand Marines? A single Marine expeditionary unit would be absolutely ideal.
Well, I
Yeah.
got to tell you what, it has to start here. We have to get this country straight because we realize that the world is waiting, and we have to clean up our own backyard before we can really start pointing at things over the other side of the fence. So once I see that things are under control here, I'm so certain that international groups that have been put together to try and help the world are going to be changed 180 degrees. And there will be help for the world and other countries, and we are probably going to assist many countries in routing out the evil that is left within their country.
Yeah, bit by bit the dominoes are falling, and we've already convicted Cardinal George Pell, and if we can get the number 2 in the Catholic Church, we can get anyone. We're going to be effective. We're going to do this properly.
Well, I know they've already started. Last night they announced in Texas that all major universities and state colleges will be closed for the remainder of the year. They're going online and everybody has to leave the dorms and go home, which is a good start. They need to cut off the indoctrination centers. And those that stick around, let them riot, let them get some attention for the media so we can get those that are still lost in their TV, they'll start reporting it. Because I told Carmen yesterday, I said by Sunday morning, talking points, they have to get in line. The Mockingbird has to get in line because they've already been served notice with the lawsuits. And then, of course, closing up the loopholes from Obama's propagandist agenda. But, I thought that was a good move. And I know the focus is on the border at California and Arizona. That's the weak spot. New Mexico and Texas is pretty locked down. If they ain't, they got the National Guard ready to buck 'em wild. So we got to keep eyes on that. I'm concerned about the big sanctuary cesspools, the cities like Chicago, San Francisco, Minneapolis, and the big epicenters. That's where I guess I'm seeing on the platforms questions like, we need to have situational awareness. Those that know, Dumpster and I did a show on that, and we'll get that together and present it to you again, so you can have it in your archives. But we need to, because you and I, Dumpster, we know, I told you, I got to look in my backyard before I can make the whole nation accountable. We got to get out there and at least go for a walk, get some sunshine, meet a neighbor, talk to a neighbor. And, I know I'm blessed out here in the country. There's no big movement. I can go to the store, toilet paper's on the shelf, go to the produce stand. Berries are in season. It hasn't affected my life, but I know I'll be praying for those that are in the epicenter of the ghettos, the pimp lands, as I call them.
That's right. The most vulnerable will feel this the most. And there's a comment from Kaijo out in YouTube chat, and it reads, "While the world shuts down, it's a good time to round up the evil elites." My personal opinion on that is that COVID-19 was an unexpected event that has accelerated the Q-Plan timetable. I think Q-Plan was going to be for after this year's elections, but I think COVID-19 has forced the issue, and I think that it's being used as cover by Q, and I hope to bring you more information along those lines.
Can I just say something to that,
Sure.
Dumpster? I think it's the other way round. I think it's Q and Q team has forced the deep state to accelerate their plans. Because I think, with their military precision and the planning, I think, me, no one else has to agree, Scope agrees, that they've forced the deep state into using up all their ammo, and I think the current so-called pandemic is their last shot.
And at this
Yes,
point, it's just. I'm sorry, Scott.
Private Benjamin.
There is no step 5.
Well, it's all gaslighting at this point.
Well, I was just going to say, you can't release something like this right in the States. It would be looked at as a biological attack. So, you take it to a city that can absorb it, and then you move it. You move it to other places so it's not seen as an attack. And yeah, I agree that, this is one of their, I don't think that they were actually ready, but they were getting ready with, the people that were caught trying to sneak biologicals out of Canada, out of, Harvard University professors working for the Chinese. I mean, they were getting ready. And like you say, I think they started this just a little too soon. And hey, this is my opinion, but if there's a Project Looking Glass out there, this may have been seen and part of the plan, and they're taking this and turning it around on them.
I know that there's going to be people in the audience that are going to view this show either now or in the future. Do you want to give a quick description of what Project Looking Glass is? As I understand it, it's alien technology that deals with time dilation. I'm talking about time machines and aliens. And that's what people want to know. Yeah, go for it, Scott. Tell us what Looking Glass is, please.
Way back when, I'm talking about around the Roswell time era, there was some technology that was recovered here on Earth that was reverse engineered, and during the reverse engineering process, they found out that this particular chair and this particular device, there's a couple of different things. There's a thing called the Montauk chair, and then there's also a thing called the Looking Glass, which is a device which works electromagnetically and causes an electromagnetic field and interfaces with the human mind or psyche, you could say, and it allows you to look at probability into the future. I know this sounds a little off kilter, but this has allowed them to do that with alien technology that we were given and help that we were given. I would guess I should say another race of people here on the earth were given, referring to the Germans and during the Nazi war and Operation Paperclip. A lot of those scientists who knew about what was going on came over here to help put that technology together under the guise of rocketry and von Braun. But a lot of other scientists that were in on a lot of this technology were swept up as well, and they helped assist the Americans in developing this, and they could actually look at this device and if you can imagine looking at different channels on a television or a radio show, you could take a probability and run down this particular path and look at the probabilities of what may take place, what could happen into the future if this was to happen and that was to happen. And then you could also look down another probability, another pathway, and see if this would happen, what would occur, what could take place. And they were using this, it was said by someone, to actually pick our presidents ahead of time so they could groom them. And there was a period of time in 2012 where this device hit a roadblock. They could no longer see past this period of time. And people were brought in, savants and empaths, to try to help with this problem and resolve this problem. And they could never see past the year 2012. And so at that point, they lost their ability to be able to control or look or curtail future events. But this technology, if gathered by the white hats and the good guys, and they were able to look and use this machine for the good of humankind and mankind, they may have been able to understand exactly what the black cats were going to do every step of the way. That's just in a quick synopsis, but there are great videos out there on YouTube that explain this. I believe, Carrie Cassidy and Project Camelot interviews several different, I guess you could call them whistleblowers who talk about this project. De Blasio is one of them. Bill Brockbrader may be another one that talks about them. There's several videos that are out there that describe this.
That was a rather concise and sober assessment of the technology that we are talking about. These kinds of things, they're not new ideas, but they're very hard for people to accept. I mean, I don't want to talk about aliens or time travel at the moment, but it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. And like it or not, these kinds of things are going to be becoming part of the public consciousness. And yeah. Anyway, there is a great message from Laura Heath. True Pundit 7 minutes ago. Report. Obama's DHS Inspector General indicted on 16 counts for attempting to defraud the US government. So that's just another little grain of sand in the hourglass. And the time's running out for the enemy. That much is sure.
I'll tell you what, the sweep over here is continuing. We are cleaning the floors, and we're taking back control of our government and our municipalities and the people who have power over us. We are starting to turn the tide, and we're winning. The world is winning.
Well, did you see about 144,000 in ICE arrests and apprehensions, and some unsealing through the DEA happened yesterday? That's good news. That's hallelujah news.
It's better than good news. I think it was Ozanon who put me onto this, and the geographic map showing the sealed indictments across the United States. It overlays perfectly with military operations in the United States at the moment, which means they're getting ready. It's about to go down. And I, for one, cannot wait. And I will gather that information and present it for you guys in the best format I can in the time that is available to me. And yeah, let me thank you all. Do you guys want to say your goodbyes and we'll wrap up the show maybe? Or we don't have
Can I
to,
just
though.
can I just say happy birthday to Private Benjamin's daughter for tomorrow or today?
And thank you very much, Kaz. I'm very proud of my daughter. She is a Gen Xer that proved to be an asset. She was, she had her awakening, you know, long before the political argument came. She was, can I tell you one thing? Who's that? Is that breathing Puppy Max?
Sorry.
Oh dear. Anyway.
Well, my girl lived in Europe and was not stationed in the military. She worked for an attorney at the UN prior to 9/11. There almost 2 years. Then abruptly got a notice to evacuate the country the day before 9/11. She got home at 10:30 that night with no explanation or reason. She got, comped financially. She was working in translation and stuff, but The next morning we woke up to 9/11, and she told me about a spiritual experience she had while she was enjoying, Paris, because she would send me videos of, her journalistic tour and stuff. And she said, "Mom, I heard this break the chains so I can dance. Take the." Oh, it's awesome. So, and then she got home and it dawned on her. She goes, "George Bush set this up. Mom, everything clicked for her." So I knew my girl was on our side. I know, we hadn't always gotten along. And believe me, I hear it every day. People's children won't talk to them, or their parents won't talk to the kids. But I just want to offer some hope. Both mine are on the good side. The second one is a walk away with a Brandon Straker team. So just know that just a little crumbs and drops, even if it's on Facebook or Twitter, just tag them, let you know, and they see you, they don't speak to you, don't block them. You can snooze them if they get mouthy. They're your family, you can do it. But, I wanted to wish my daughter, Courtney, happy birthday. I love you.
Courtney, my dear, happy birthday. You're a lucky woman to have Private Benjamin as your mum. Have a great one. I really mean that.
I'm going to say
That's
good
my
night.
Friday the 13th miracle.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for having me. See you next time.
You're a gem, Kaz. Thank you so much. That was extremely well done. Bravo. You introduced a very, very complicated topic, and you explained it well. And the presentation was delivered at exactly the right exactly the right time in history, I think.
Thanks, Dumpster.
Thanks, Kaz. Happy birthday, little 13-year-old. Or big 13-year-old. Happy birthday.
No, Friday the 13th, Oz.
Sorry, I got my head into five different places. Happy birthday and thank you, Kaz.
Girl, it'd be all right.
Oh, to be 13 again.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know jack shit. No, I don't want to go back.
On that note, there are going to be children that are going to listen to this broadcast. Don't fret, don't worry. It's well in hand. We've already won. We're just going through the motions at this point. Don't fret, don't freak out. But get connected. Tell your friends, wake them up. Do your own research as well. And yeah.
Well, I sent her what I had copied off the internet and texted it to her about the income tax and the payroll and everything. And I said, "Happy birthday." She goes, "Can't think of a better present." And she's a big HR manager and manages several thousand people. And she goes, "Oh, now that's going to be the headache for these people." I said, "Just put it in your computer, but just know maybe you're a student in debt." She's been working 30 years to pay off that master's degree. And her home, yeah. I'm so glad you brought the topic up, Kaz. We've been waiting to get some sensible placement of the timeline and how things have gone and how we can, maybe watch it unfold in our lives and give us some hope.
I think we just need to trust the plan. It's in motion. We're seeing it.
Well, we prayed for it, Scope. So, no doubt with the Holy Spirit from God is manifested. You know that, brother.
Absolutely. He has had enough, and he has put people in place and has anointed certain ones to carry out his plan. And he has put a shield around them that no one can touch. And with all of the prayers and all of the things that people do around this world in different countries all over helps so much and just perpetuates God's plan for those who know him.
Amen, brother.
Okie dokes, folks. Any loose ends?
Well, Dumpster, would it be okay if I said a quick prayer for your channel and the folks out there in your part of the world? And would that be okay?
I'll put that to the rest of the team. What say you all?
No
I've been waiting to hear for a prayer from Scope.
There you go, Scope. We were waiting. I find your delivery and your prayer to be absolutely spot on. It always reassures me. It really does. Go for it, Scope.
Well, thank you. Father God, we are here today waiting to receive the things that you have us know and the direction that you take us. We thank you and praise you for all that you show us and all that you teach us through others and through your word and through the ones that you send to help us along the way. We feel that you are with us. And Lord, we ask that you protect all those who have power over us and warm their hearts to the movement that is happening here. We believe that this is your plan, and we thank you for the leadership that you bring us. We thank you for this platform and all those who participate to bring the truth to the people and to bring the news to the people and share the facts and tell the truth to those who would listen. Lord God, we ask that you please bless the people that are here today and bless those that are listening and those that are not. We hope, Lord God, that you can help them to find the answers and continue to listen to channels such as these where the truth is spoken and order is brought to the people and to those who care to participate. Lord Father, we ask that you look out for those people who are sick today and who are needing healing and who are needing spiritual help. We ask, Lord Father, that you touch those who feel that they're alone and that they're afraid and scared. We ask, Lord God, that you bring people into their lives to reassure them and to strengthen them and to give them hope. Let them see your love on the face of those people who lend a helping hand. Let them understand that you are working through the people that you send them. Help them to know you, Lord God. Bring them into your fold and protect them with your mercy. Lord Jesus, we pray these things in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen, sir. And remember, guys, get right with God, because this plan will not come to fruition without God's blessing. That much is certain. We need to be moral people to navigate the circumstances that we face ourselves in. And for me, that means belief in God.
You know what they used to say in AA 36 years ago? I mean, I didn't have a problem, but those that didn't have a God. They said, if you don't have a God, get that shoebox, make it real pretty, kind of put it, write down your thoughts and everything you want to bitch at God about, throw in there. One day you got to take it out and look at it, and you'll finally see where God is really at. So I used that when I would sponsor people. Next thing you know, I started seeing them walk their walk and reconciling all these things that we're having to face. But I just want to end on this note because I've got to get my troll on. Y'all know how I do. But enjoy this show. You know, it means just that. It doesn't mean having a nervous breakdown, fretting and worrying about the ending. Remember, we already know the ending. He will not fail us. You know what? It is well with my soul. I am reconciled. Peace out.
Sweet. Love you, Benji. I'll see you around.
Bye, Benji. Thank you so much, Scope. Thank you, Kaz. We hope you come back again. And thanks everyone in chat. You're awesome. Without you, we are nothing.
That's right. You guys are the
Well,
reason we're
not
here.
quite nothing, but
Oh, yeah. Yep. You guys are the reason we're here. To thank us all, share this link with at least one other person, please. Okay. How about a song?
Good
Carmen?
show.
How about a song, Carmen? And then we'll let chat say their goodbyes. And that'll be it for the evening, I think.
Okay, love you guys.
They call us deplorable, and we love the name. They got the bodies in the dirt and need someone to blame. Got a penchant for greed and money to spare. They put the dollars in the coffers and the lies in the air. Where we go one, we go all. I won't push you down, you won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one, we go all. We are the patriots, trust the plan because we have it all and the fate is in our hands. Had a reason to fool us, but we didn't take the bait. They want to take us to hell, but we got guns at the gate. Where we go one, we go all. I won't push you down, you won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one, we go all. They call it a conspiracy. It's the one last lie. We know who they are, and we got them in our sights. Our knowledge is power. They're running for the hills. If the law don't get them, then we the people will. Where we go one, we go all. I won't push you down. You won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one, we go all. We go all. I won't push you down. You won't let me fall. One day for sure we will stand tall. Where we go one, we go all.
Okay. Do you want to just say the final goodbyes, Carmen?
Well, everybody, once again, I'll just remind you to let the people in your life know that you love them. And I want to tell you that I love you too. And we'll see you the next time, Monday morning.